Good evening. This regular meeting of November 12th, 2018 of the Dubuque Community School District Board of Education is called to order. Our mission is to develop world-class learners and citizens of character in a safe and inclusive learning community. Roll call, please.
Mr. Barton.
Here.
Ms. Bradley.
Here.
Mr. Donahue.
Here.
Mr. Prohaska.
Here.
Ms. Ryan.
Here.
Mr. Sansey.
Here.
Ms. Whitman.
Here. We have with us tonight students from Fulton Elementary School who will introduce themselves and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Come on forward.
My name is Jamia, and I'm in 5th grade.
My name is Sophia, and I'm in 5th grade.
My name is Jaya, and I'm in 4th grade.
My name is Josh, and I'm in 5th grade.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much.
I move the Board of Education approve the agenda as submitted.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded that the Board of Education approve the agenda as submitted. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries.
I move the Board of Education approve the minutes of the regular meeting on October 8th and the strategic plan update session on October 22nd, 2018 as submitted.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded that the Board of Education approve the minutes of the regular meeting on October 8th and the strategic plan update session on October 22nd, 2018 as submitted. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. All right, we have some board salutes around the table. We'll start right down there with Mr. Sansey.
Yeah, so we all know that it takes a community to educate a child, so we want to give a board salute to Anderson Window and Doors for donating school supplies to teachers and students. And we also want to give a board salute to Premier Bank for hosting a collection for students for the winter drive, which now we have hats, gloves, coats, snow pants, and boots for all the students. So we want to thank both of those organizations for helping our students.
Great.
I have a board salute. This is very unique. It goes to Nancy Mista Anderson and Martha Mista Hesse, who last week returned a historic school bell to its original home at Sageville Elementary School. The bell belonged to their mother, Adeline Klingman, who taught at Sageville Elementary School from 1926 through 1930. When Klingman left Sageville, the bell was given to her as a gift and was a permanent fixture in her household for the rest of her life. Since her death in 1986, it has been displayed in her home of her daughter Nancy, who presented it at Sageville Assembly last week. Nancy and her sister decided the best place for the bell was to reside was at the Sageville as a piece of the school's history. We want to thank Nancy and Martha for this donation and for bringing back a piece of history back to the district.
Great. Thank you.
I have a worthwhile donation and a board salute. Goes out to McGraw-Hill Education Helping Hands program, which recently provided Lincoln Elementary School with a $5,000 grant to support continuation of the school's yoga and mindfulness practices in the classroom. The program incorporates relaxation, mindfulness techniques to help students increase concentration, calmness, and self-composure. So thanks to McGraw-Hill for supporting these efforts in our school.
Great. Thank you. Anyone else?
I would just say a thank you to all the parents and teachers and administrators and children who attended conferences recently. That partnership and collaboration for the good of our kids is just invaluable. So just a thanks to everybody.
Agreed. Thank you. All right, we have a red carpet recognition of our Teacher of the Year.
Okay. Had to get his microphone up here. Each spring, we choose a Teacher of the Year from nominations throughout the district, and then we will honor them in the spring, but we also, in the month of November, present them sort of as the reigning 2018-19 Teacher of the Year with a frame certificate from the school board. So as you already know, this year's Teacher of the Year is Brandy Mogenberg. So I'll give Brandy, come on up, Brandy. Interesting thing about Brandy is she is the first ever kindergarten teacher to win Teacher of the Year. And I think that signifies how we've begun to view early elementary years and how important and formative those are to our students if they're going to be successful in later years in middle school and high school. So very briefly from the nomination we received, the line that I really think is pretty powerful, and this comes from the teacher who nominated Brandy. It says, I think of Brandy as a warm demander. She creates an engaging classroom, convinces each child they are brilliant, and provides structure and discipline to make learning a priority. So I can't think of a better gift to give a kindergartner than to make sure that they all think they're brilliant and have a great future. So congratulations, Brandy. Maybe say a few words and we'll...
Thank you. This honor has had such a profound impact on both my life and career. I appreciate the outreach of support and kindness that I have received from so many in the community. Thank you to the board for recognizing this award, to the Teacher of the Year Committee for selecting me, and most of all, to my incredible nominator. I have the unique opportunity to start little people off on their educational journey. It is necessary that they leave my room at the end of the year with a strong foundation and, more importantly, love of learning. It is a great responsibility, and I know that I cannot do it alone. I am blessed to have the encouragement of my family and the privilege to collaborate with supportive parents, administration, support staff, and some of the best teachers education has to offer. Teaching is the collective effort of many. I've worked side by side with individuals who give 100% each day to ensure their students reach their fullest potential and become exemplary citizens. Their passion inspires me. I get so much fulfillment from the achievements of my students, perhaps even more so when their success comes from perseverance. It is important to me they understand their hard work will pay off and they see the potential in themselves that I see. It is my job to ensure the students leave kindergarten with the skills needed to extend their learning. However, academics is just a part of it. I have not taught them anything if they do not know that I care, and they have not learned to care for others. It is a big world beyond our four walls. Just ask a 5-year-old. I love what I do, and it means so much to be recognized for it. And finally, I'd like to congratulate Chris Burke for receiving the Iowa Teacher of the Year Award. He's an example to educators across the country, and he makes our district proud.
Oh, one more.
Which is the better camera? I chorus that.
You good?
Yep.
Congratulations again.
Congratulations officially. Well, I knew Brandy was going to be good. She was one of my student teachers when she decided to go into.
She had a good start.
She did all the work. I just affirmed what she was good at. So it's nice to see her come along.
I move the Board of Education suspend the rules of order and go into open forum.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded that the Board of Education suspend the rules of order and go into open forum. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Is there any persons wishing to address the board at this time? Please state your name and address and limit your comments to 3 minutes, and know that we cannot respond to your direct comments that you give to us.
Okay. My name is Christine Darr, and I live at 419 Winona Street. My sons are in the 2nd and 4th grades at Prescott Elementary School, and I'm here tonight because I wanted to address the board on the matter of redistricting that was addressed at the October school board meeting. The board must take very seriously the consequences of the concentration of need that exists within the school district. As Nancy Bradley highlighted at the last meeting, the differences between elementary schools when it comes to their economic, racial, and ethnic diversity are cause of significant concern. The rates of free and reduced lunch at the 5 downtown schools are markedly higher than the rest of the district, and currently 77% of our children of color in the district go to 4 schools. I was very concerned to hear President Ryan dismiss concerns about the lack of diversity in the elementary schools by arguing that it self-corrects as kids move through the school system because it reflects a profound misunderstanding of the nature of the problems that we face. Mr. Sansey rightly identified student achievement gaps as an important consideration, and I wanted to address that first. The Board of Education's Iowa School Report Card is a useful resource for comparing the achievement of minority students who attend a school where minorities are the majority versus schools where white kids are the majority. In 2017, minority students who went to minority-majority schools had proficiency scores fairly consistent between these schools, but drastically different than proficiency scores of minority students who went to schools with a white majority. At Audubon, minority proficiency was 32%, Fulton 41%, Lincoln 31%, and Prescott 32%. Compare that to schools where there are majority white, for which there was data. So minority students at Carver had an 81% proficiency rate, Eisenhower 72%, Irving 57%, and Kennedy 81%. These scores are fairly consistent over the last 3 years, and the difference is stunning. Why is it that when minority kids go to majority white elementary schools, they do so much better? Recall that around 23% of our minority students go to white majority schools, while 77% go to schools with a minority majority. As these kids move through the school system and end up in high school, both of which are indeed more integrated, as Ms. Ryan noted, we see that minority students are still not meeting proficiency standards. For example, the board has discussed previously a concern that white students are 3.4 times more likely than black students to be enrolled in at least one AP class. That's an important achievement gap to attend to. However, the district will not be able to address these achievement gaps until they attend to the opportunity gaps that exist in our elementary schools. I would like to know from the board, are you aware of and looking at what opportunities and resources are being made available to our kids in white majority schools that are not available in the majority minority schools? Are you spending time in the classrooms of our schools with concentrations of need and seeing firsthand what this need feels like on a daily basis? One specific opportunity gap or opportunity issue is teachers with experience. At Prescott, teachers classified as inexperienced account for 32% of the staff, whereas the white majority schools, that number hovers around 9% of inexperienced teachers. I want to emphasize I'm not judging or condemning teachers for their lack of experience or desire to move. However, I think it is on the district to address this issue of teacher transfers more intentionally. An important shift that I've seen at Prescott is an emphasis on trauma-informed care as a way to meet the needs of our students. And while I greatly appreciate this approach being employed at Prescott and other schools, it's outrageous and unreasonable to expect our teachers and staff to attend to the incredible need of the vast majority of these kids in schools while also trying to work through the required curriculum. I understand the district is trying to strengthen community partnerships as a way to address some of this need. And while that might be appropriate to a certain degree, I worry that you're abdicating your duty to educate our children by shifting responsibility to the private sector. Mr. Rangan's redistricting and school pairing are two specific ways of distributing the need within the district that keep solutions within the public sector. We're beyond fiddling with details about how our elementary schools operate, and it's time for structural change. Mr. Sansey, I agree with you, what you said at the last meeting, that we should not be ashamed or afraid to have conversations around equity. However, for the sake of all our kids, these conversations need to move us to bold action. Understanding the context and trends is important, but we can keep looking at the data until this year's kindergartners are graduating from high school and never make meaningful change. What I'm asking you to do now is demonstrate the will to do what is right. In the district's strategic plan, one of your action steps is to challenge present practices as related to equity and inclusion to close the achievement gap. I urge you to take this action step seriously and challenge two specific practices. First, you should immediately address the issue of teacher retention as a way to begin closing the opportunity gap in our elementary schools. And second, you should seriously reconsider the present practice of neighborhood elementary schools, a practice which has consistently demonstrated a failure to raise student achievement. Thank you.
Excuse me. My name is Christopher Lammer Heindel. I reside at 1145 Mount Pleasant Street. I have a daughter in 5th grade and son in kindergarten at Prescott also, and I volunteered at the school. I want to follow on the points that Dr. Dar made, but focus on questions of accountability. I've followed the well-publicized situation in Davenport, where students of color were 2.3 grade levels behind their white peers. Unfortunately, the situation is worse in that regard here in Dubuque. On average, our students of color are over 3 grade levels below their white peers. I understand that there are factors at play in Davenport that are very different than here in Dubuque, but I'm curious whether an equity audit through the State Board of Education would be needed to help spur examination of these issues. I'm also frustrated by the fact that in past conversations with the superintendent, he suggested that the board is his boss, but in conversations with board members, I and others have been told to work through the superintendent and director of elementary education. I think there's a need for clarity as to which way it is and where the accountability lies and who we need to be working through. From my perspective as a Prescott parent, I'm quite disheartened by the direction and decision-making I've observed up to this point. Last year, this board failed to renew Prescott's charter, and you assured parents that nothing would change. In fact, as anticipated, enrollment increased. Class sizes in 1st, 2nd, and 4th grade have increased, and additional sections were added to other grades. While the addition of these sections has kept class sizes manageable, and that was thus initially welcome news, the impact hasn't been neutral. Rather, to cover the new sections, teachers were reassigned, and a number of classes lost their second teacher. Even before your decision to eliminate the class size cap associated with Prescott's charter, behavior disruptions and the sheer amount of required reteaching for struggling students prevented teachers from progressing through curriculum. So for example, my daughter, who's now in 5th grade, has never finished the math curriculum in any grade. Moreover, both of my children, as well as the children of 2 other families we're close to, have experienced stress and anxiety as a result of the numerous behavior disruptions at school. Our children are of different races, economic strata, and educational achievement, but they have each on multiple occasions this year reported feeling scared and frustrated at school, often because there is insufficient staffing to handle multiple behavior issues at a time. And so instruction is often interrupted. They've been asked to leave classrooms or go to the gym while teachers rush around the halls trying to handle behavior disruptions. All of this is a direct consequence of concentrated need and inadequate resources. Your decision to lift the enrollment caps at Prescott at a time when it was struggling to close achievement gaps suggests a lack of sufficient concern or understanding of the on-the-ground dynamics the teachers are attempting to negotiate. As a result of my experience volunteering at Prescott, I'm convinced that the behavior issues, the need for reteaching, and the inability to complete curriculum is not owing to a failure on the part of the teachers. I would argue that Prescott teachers that I've spoken to and worked with, and the building principal, are among the most resourceful and dedicated educators I've ever met. They are, however, stretched very thin and without adequate resources. As I see it, responsibility and accountability for these matters lies squarely on the shoulders of the school board, the superintendent, and the director of elementary education. As you consider your action steps to challenge present practices as related to equity and inclusion to close the achievement gap, I hope you consider the following criticisms. First, in light of the sheer number of newer and experienced teachers at Prescott and other minority-majority schools, it's unacceptable that the district continues to grant requests by experienced teachers to transfer to West End schools. Second, certain board members and the superintendent describe the open enrollment policy as a form of school choice, which allegedly makes a positive contribution to the issue of inequity. Yet a 2013 report from the University of Iowa titled Schools, Neighborhoods, and Student Outcomes in Dubuque, Iowa, contraindicated such a policy on the grounds that it would, and I quote, spur an exodus from the vulnerable schools, thereby exacerbating problems of inequity and school and neighborhood viability, end quote. That same report suggested that grade reconfiguration and pairing, something that Iowa City's been examining, would be a possible means of addressing the challenges the district is facing. To date, however, little effort has been devoted to that issue, and the board has indicated it will continue to pursue further school choice options instead under the guise of magnet schools. Finally, the priority initiatives that the board approved do not address the concerns we're raising, so I think they need to be revisited. Thank you.
Is there anyone else wishing to address the board at this time?
I move that the Board of Education reinstate the rules of order and return to regular session.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded that the Board of Education reinstate the rules of order and return to regular session. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Consent agenda.
I move that the Board of Education approve those items listed in the consent agenda.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded to, that the Board of Education approve those items listed in the consent agenda. Are there any items any members wish to have pulled? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. All right, that takes us to the Facilities and Support Services report. Mr. Donahue.
Thank you. Our committee met on the 5th of November. Our agenda consisted of looking at some replacement purchases of some maintenance vehicles. We got an update on the pool replacement project, as well as there's some motions tonight that really allow us to bring to a close the first phase of the senior high school renovation project, as well as we have some requests for additional allowable growth, if you may, for a couple of categories of open enrollment and LEP instruction beyond 5 years. And we also, Mr. Kelleher reviewed the kind of the quarterly update on the PEPAL and SAVE funds for us at that meeting. But I've got four motions for your approval. The first one, I move that the Board of Education approve final acceptance of the senior high school renovation and addition furniture, fixtures, and equipment project, and authorize payment of final project cost to Premier Furniture and Equipment in the amount of $0 in accordance with the requirements of Iowa law and is more fully outlined in the submitted authorizing resolution.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded that the Board of Education approve final acceptance of the senior high school renovation and addition furniture, fixture, and equipment project and authorize payment of final project costs to Premier Furniture and Equipment in the amount of $0 in accordance with the requirements of Iowa law and as more fully outlined in the submitted authorizing resolution. Is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries.
Thank you. The second one really wraps up the project. That was the fixtures and furnitures, or fixture and equipment portion of that. But I move that the Board of Education approve final acceptance of the senior high school renovation and addition project and authorize final payment of final project cost to Conlin Construction Company in the amount of $59,812.96 in accordance with the requirements of Iowa law and is more fully outlined in the submitted authorizing resolution.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded that the Board of Education approve final acceptance of the senior high school renovation and addition project and authorize payment of final project costs to Conlin Construction Company in the amount of $59,812.96 in accordance with the requirements of Iowa law and as more fully outlined in the submitted authorizing resolution. Is there any discussion?
I'd just like to mention that just the vibe I've gotten from the community that overall they're very satisfied with the renovation that took place at Senior in Phase 1. The architects have maintained the integrity of the school. And I want to give a special shout out to Bill and Charlie for keeping everybody on task over there and making sure it ended up the way we originally planned. So thank you very much, gentlemen.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries.
And we got one change order for the first change order out of the Alta Vista Alternative Learning Center addition project. I move that the Board of Education approve change order number 1 to Portson Construction, Inc. on the Alta Vista Alternative Learning Center addition project in the increased amount of $15,317.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded that the Board of Education approve change order number 1 to Portson Construction, Inc. on the Alta Vista Alternative Learning Center addition project in the increased amount of $15,317. Is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries.
And the final motion for your consideration, I move that the Board of Education approve the district's submission of the request to the School Budget Review Committee in the amounts of $288,551 for open enrollment out and $103,765 for LEP instruction beyond 5 years, or as determined by the Iowa Department of Education following the Department of Education audit review in modified supplemental amount.
Second. It has been moved and seconded that the Board of Education approve the district's submission of the request to the School Budget Review Committee in the amounts of $288,551 for open enrollment out and $103,765 for LEP instruction beyond 5 years, or as determined by the Iowa Department of Education following DE audit review in modified supplemental amount. Is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Anything else, Mr. Donahue?
Nope, there's steel, hopefully steel going up on the pool next month, and hopefully have the roof on the Alta Vista project by February, so. Bill and Charlie still got stuff to do. So.
Yeah, they both are taking shape, so if you
They
haven't
really
had a
are.
chance to drive
Yep.
by, take a look and you can visualize what the future will look like.
Yep.
Great. Thank you. Educational Programs and Policy Committee, Mr. Sansey.
So we met on November the 6th, and kind of the framework that we always focus on is what's best for all of our students. And so we always get different data and information on how to improve outcomes for our students. But one of the things that I just want to highlight specifically is this Saturday at senior high school from 8 to 12, we will have students from all 3 high schools, Hempstead, Alta Vista, and Senior coming together collectively for their first robotic competition. So it was real interesting seeing these kids come together and learning real skill sets that's going to help them for their future, as it was explained to us, how to communicate, how to problem solve, how to work across differences. These are the kind of conversations that are happening at our committee, and we just want to wish them good luck as they compete, right? So if you have free time, please go watch them and support them and root them on.
Great. Thank you. Okay, that moves us on to new business items.
I move that the Board of Education expel student number 819034 from attending school in the Dubuque Community School District through January 18th through 2019.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded that the Board of Education expel student 819034 from attending school in the Dubuque Community School District through January 18th, 2019. Is there any discussion?
Just a little background, short-term expulsion. Again, there are times when students commit acts that we can't ignore, but it is our goal to help all of our students be successful. So this is a short-term expulsion with a contract. I met with the student and the parents to discuss what it is that young person can do to sort of get back into school. And there's a lot of help that goes with that for the students. So if they're successful, they'll be back for second semester and can maintain their trajectory towards graduation. So.
Thank you. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries.
I move the Board of Education take no further disciplinary action related to students number 805406 and number 810476 at this time.
Need a second?
Second.
It has been moved and seconded that the Board of Education take no further disciplinary action related to students number 805406 and number 810476 at this time. Is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries.
I move the Board of Education approve ISJIT Iowa Schools Joint Investment Trust as an official depository not to exceed $50 million.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded that the Board of Education approve ISJIT, Iowa Schools Joint Investment Trust, as an official depository not to exceed $50 million. Is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. And we are now to any board member or administrative issues. Mr. Reingans, have anything?
Nope. Most of us will be in Des Moines for Wednesday and Thursday, Iowa Association of School Boards.
And UEN meetings, yep.
UEN meetings. UEN meetings.
All right. Board member concerns?
No, I just want to say what a great program it was at Roosevelt School for CRISPR. That was
Yeah.
a great accomplishment for him, and everyone was so proud. It was a big surprise, and it was nice. It was wonderful. Great to be part of it.
Yes. Anyone else? All right, we are adjourned.